Managing grief and loss. Maria was a woman who always had her life well organized. She had spent the last decades in a marriage filled with understanding and love with Dimitris. They had 2 children, Anna and Yorgos, and a peaceful life full of small joys and daily challenges. However, her life took an unexpected turn when Dimitris suddenly fell ill. The diagnosis was shocking: a rare disease with little hope. The months that followed were filled with treatments, hospital visits, and an increasing sense of loss that framed her life. Maria felt like her world was falling apart, trying to maintain a strong front for the children and family. But as time passed, the emotional burden became harder and harder to manage. The day Dimitris passed away, Maria felt an overwhelming emptiness. The pain she felt was unbearable. She felt like she was losing the meaning of her existence. Her life, which had been full of organized activities and joys, now seemed empty and dark. Managing grief and loss was a challenge that disoriented her. In the following months, Maria tried to maintain her routine, but the darkness she felt inside wouldn't allow her to see the light. She faced frequent anxiety and sadness, and often felt helpless. However, during one of her walks in the park, she met Manos, an old friend of Dimitris, who had never shown much of his feelings toward her. Manos was a man who had also lost his wife a few years earlier, and had managed to find a new balance in his life. Manos, despite his own struggles, offered her a special support, not with words, but with his presence. He explained to her that grief is not a linear process, but one that begins with intense pain and gradually reshapes. Over the following weeks, Manos and Maria spent time together, sharing memories of Dimitris and facing the pain in a new way. Manos helped her see life from a more positive perspective, reminding her of the importance of self-care and living for her children. Months later, Maria began to understand that grief would never fully go away. It was a process that would continue evolving with her. Acceptance of the pain, reconnecting with her inner strength, and embracing change were the keys to finding her new balance. Though the loss could not be undone, Maria learned to live with it, manage it, and move forward. Moral of the story: the lesson from Maria's story is that grief and loss are a process that requires time and patience. Acceptance of pain, support from others, and acknowledgement of our emotional state are the most important steps in managing this process. Maria realized that, although her life had changed forever, there was room to rebuild her well-being, always respecting her history and the person she lost.